Right, now we're going to do list to vector. We just did vector to list. Alright, so to make list to vector, this will be a bit more complicated. Okay, so the easier way, of course, to do list to vector would just be to use the command they've already got inside here, but of course that would be cheating. So we're going to have to basically what we'll have to do is going to make a vector that is the length of the list. So make vector that is the length of whatever list our function will get. Alright, and that's just filled with nothing. And then we're going to have to go through every single one of these things in the list and change the value at the index that you're at. Alright, so we're going to have to cutter down the list. Yes, cutter down the list and keep track of the index at the same time, which is going to be a bit tricky. Sort of mixing two worlds here. So let's just dive right in now. I actually don't know how I'm going to do this function, so I'll talk you through my thinking as I think about it. So let's call it iList to iVector, because they're ours, not, I suppose it's mine actually. Alright, lambda, and it takes a list, ls. Alright, so we're going to have a helper function, obviously, and what does that helper function need to have in it? Rec helper, oops, lambda. Well, it's got to have a vector. This will be the make vector here, the empty one that we've got, and it's got to have an index I, and it's got to have a list ls. Alright, so not that list, in fact we'll call it something else. We'll call it my ls. Okay, because we're going to have to cutter on down through it as we go along. Okay, so let's see. The stopping case is when we get to the empty list, and at that point the vector should be all filled up with the contents of that list. So if null my ls, then we're going to return the vector. Oops, just the vector. Okay, and otherwise we want to do two things. We want to vector set bang the vector at position I to equal the car of my ls, because basically we're going to have, alright, so we have this empty vector will be v at the start, and then we'll have the list there, which will be we'll have I as 0, and then we'll have the list will be this here, the list of values, which is the exact same length of the vector, since we're going to make the vector down here when we call helper. Alright, so just assume that v and my ls are the exact same length. Well, at least at the start, when you first call helper, v and my ls will be the same length. Okay, and then I is referring to 0 at the start. Oh, my computer is like going pretty slow, so you see I'm trying to highlight but it's not working. Don't worry, it will get better. It does have quite a task of trying to record these videos and audio and whatnot, and plus I've got like 6 desktops open. It's really quite hectic, I suppose. I think it did this in the last video, or a couple of videos ago. and it was rather discouraging, but you know, it worked through it eventually. Okay, so I'll just talk a bit more about how this function works. Alright, so as it keeps going, we're going to have to call itself the helper. So at first the vector will be like, let's say, length of 4 with a bunch of zeros, and then my ls will be this list here, 1 2 3 4, and I will be 0. Okay, so after it'll run through, it'll set the first one of make vector. It'll set at index I, which is 0, it'll set that one to equal the car of my ls, which is 1 in this case. Okay, then it will call itself again, helper, on the same vector, but we're going to have to increment I by 1, so that it will be on this next one here, because this is the next one we have to fill up. And at the same time, we're going to, when we call helper, let's call the coder of my ls. And that way we'll get this list here of 2 3 4. But we'll just be able to yes, so we can just call the car of it again, and that way it'll shrink. So this my ls will shrink every time, and then when it gets all done, it will well, it will be done. Alright, so let me see what's going on here. I think I've got to stop something. Alright, I've got I'm going to kill npviewer.ben 6210. See if that stops things. Alright. Well, okay, I'm going to stop the video until this problem clears up, and then I'll just resume it.